Today, we'll discuss the stellar biobots from the Necron race, a topic I'm certain you'll find just as captivating as I do. This time, I've decided to focus on the greatest lord of the Necrons, a collector known as Trazyn the Infinite. This Necron truly has his own collection, and it is genuinely impressive. To start, Trazyn the Infinite spends his time on the tomb world of Solemnace, a grim and gray planet hidden in the distant cosmos on the eastern fringe. According to canon, Solemnace is under the dominion of the Nalak dynasty, renowned for their wealth. Among the Necrons, and even among humans, rumors circulate of a peculiar incident that occurred with Phairon Kisfmoy after his awakening, resulting in the dynasty now being ruled by his disembodied head. Essentially, the Necrons placed him on the throne as emperors are seated, and he commands all. Trazyn resides within the Nalak domains. He is expected to submit to the Noblani the Nalak lineage, but in truth, he regards them with disdain. On his chest, in place of the ankh, he wears the family glyph of the Nazarvians, a dead dynasty that irritates other Necrons. The Nazarvians were conquered by the Nalak, and such an act is seen as a blatant disregard. Notably, the Nazarvians were treated particularly harshly. When the Phairon of the dynasty, named Azdakur, awoke in the 41st millennium on the crown world of Gobe, he was subjected to numerous tortures, compressed, disintegrated, infected with the decay virus, and cast into space. Yet each time this happened, some entities extracted his consciousness from his body and created a new form for him. This raises the question, is Azdakur a Necron at all, or something else entirely? Trazyn is investigating this matter, being a member of the Nalak dynasty. Regarding the world of Solemnace, it's worth mentioning two celestial bodies of artificial origin. The star, essentially a cluster of mirrors capturing excess energy from the planetoid's core, and the planetoid, a Dyson sphere with a shell of nanomachines and an artificial atmosphere, within which is trapped Catan named Zeterak the Outsider, the main attraction of Trazyn's collection. Zeterak, once a god of despair and madness, ranked third in significance among the Catan. The Eldar have a legend about how the laughing god Segarach convinced the Outsider to consume his kin. The Eldar have a legend about how the laughing god Segarach convinced the Outsider to consume his kin. Trazyn is a true collector, dreaming of acquiring the best representatives of different races and the most powerful artifacts. He personally oversees many operations to find new specimens, using puppet bodies into which he invests his will. In the event of catastrophic damage to these bodies, his consciousness simply returns to his true body or a new surrogate. He can capture the body of a Necron lord without their knowledge and use it at will. Thus, it's not always possible to know who you're really dealing with. How does he capture bodies? With a special technique that suppresses the victim's consciousness while Trazyn uses the body. As you can imagine, this ability greatly aids him in his travels. Trazyn is armed with an empathic obliterator, a staff whose origin remains a mystery to all but Trazyn himself. Rumor has it that it was created by the ancients. What's so special about it? When Trazyn kills someone with this staff, a psi wave is emitted, killing all nearby beings of the same species. That is, if he kills a human, other humans nearby also perish, but not Necrons. This is the perfect weapon for Trazyn, who prefers to deliver a single decisive blow, avoiding prolonged fights. Also in his arsenal are mind-shackling scarabs, an enhancement of the Canoptech scarabs, which allow Trazyn to control the minds of other races. They are very small and, on command, burrow into the victim's head, turning them into a puppet for Trazyn. As you've likely gathered, for Trazyn the Infinite, war is simply an opportunity to expand his archives with new items. The more battles, the more interesting events occur on the battlefield. He especially values unique specimens. For example, does the Imperium have a Baneblade tank or a Land Raider? Ordinary models hold no interest for Trazyn, but if, say, a Baneblade became famous during the war for Armageddon, he would want to add it to his collection. He has an entire phalanx consisting of 5 squads of Lich Guards and Trazyn himself, dedicated to artifact retrieval. Each Lich Guard is equipped with a dispersion shield. They create a force field that envelops the target artifact, simplifying its capture. It's worth mentioning the galleries of the world of Solemnace, filled with rare technologies, artifacts, and even living creatures. Every Adeptus Mechanicus dreams of being in Trazyn's gallery, even as an exhibit, as it's a chance to touch history. The most valuable exhibits are in the prismatic galleries, where looping halls house sculptures depicting events that, in Trazyn's opinion, are worthy of eternal memory. There are numerous examples. The underground war on Kalth, where the Word-Bearers face off against the Ultramarines, the meeting of the last High Council of the World ship Edhara, the events on Tragus. There's even a diorama with a fragment of the Ulachronos fleet. All these scenes are living beings, captured by Trazyn and transformed into holograms. His collection also includes the preserved head of Sebastian Thor, a religious leader from the era of apostasy, who preached against Goj van der, now revered as a saint. If the Imperium knew of this head's existence, it would cause a great stir. His collection also contains the legendary choir of Altan Sarv Psychokeen, a true Kroak in power armor, and even the petrified shell of the enslaver. But the list is much broader, attempting to enumerate known exhibits. Trazyn's collection includes several regiments of Katachan jungle fighters, captured during the war with Abrios, Adeptus Custodes, lost regiments of the Astra Militarum, Astartes from the Salamanders Order, and as known, the last Lord Castellan of Cadia, Ursar Kar-e Creed, and even an exact clone of Primarch Fulgrim, which Trazyn received from Fabius Bile in exchange for pure gene seeds of the Emperor's Children Legion, lost during the Great Crusade. Essentially, Fabius bought his freedom, as Trazyn wanted him for his collection. Trazyn also boastfully claimed that over a century ago he could have captured Rabug Guilliman, and later wanted to visit Macragge to steal him from the fortress of Hera. The collection features the Bell of St. Gerstal and hundreds of no less significant artifacts. Almost a tenth of his collection occupies a scene titled The Death of Lord Solar Macarius. Imperial guardsmen of those years are no longer found, so he sometimes replaces them with more modern ones. They differ in form and weaponry, but that doesn't matter to Trazyn. The greatest disappointments for Trazyn arise when something in his prismatic galleries breaks, be it malfunctioning canoptech scarabs, a collapsing ceiling, or the sudden intrusion of an inquisitor, with a squad engaging in a shootout. In these moments, he is enveloped in sorrow due to possible damages to truly valuable specimens. His entire collection has been amassed over 60 million years, so it includes specimens of long-extinct species. Trazyn remained vigilant while other Necrons slept. How he hasn't gone mad over this time remains a mystery. Interestingly, Trazyn pays no attention to other tomb worlds. If he needs something, he hesitates not to organize a raid on any Necron tomb world, as he does not consider his kin worthy of trust. Because of this, he is not particularly liked on various tomb worlds, especially hated in the catacombs of Mandragora for attempting to steal the Staff of Destruction belonging to Imhotep. This justifies Trazyn's use of surrogates and even fake mustaches, as it's known that fake mustaches are the best form of disguise. Trazyn believes that changing his name is an effective disguise. He invents the strangest names for himself or takes them from ancient Necron myths to appear more fashionable, for example, Trazyn Boneleg. Funnily enough, this somehow works, possibly due to the stagnation of robotic brains. If Trazyn needs to venture into the Imperium, Murtau, or, for example, Kamarag, he employs memory wiping of the locals to preserve his secrecy. Various inquisitors, rogue traders, and representatives of other races constantly come to him, having heard of the mad collector ready to do anything for a new exhibit. In current times, Trazyn finds it particularly challenging as the world plunges into chaos. He has to mobilize all the forces of the Solemnace tomb to protect planets containing valuables. The Imperium's attention was drawn during the invasion of the Tyranid Behemoth fleet. Solemnace was in their path, and Orican the Diviner was already preparing for the fall of his rival Trazyn. Few can hide from the swarm, but Trazyn proved cunning enough. He launched decoys into space, and the Tyranid fleet bypassed Trazyn's tomb. Orican, of course, was beside himself with rage and even attempted to destroy Trazyn's galleries by disrupting the stasis systems of the exhibits. But Trazyn retaliated against the treacherous Cryptek, adding him to his collection as a diorama exhibit being punished with his own staff. Perhaps events did not unfold exactly as described, but the general essence is accurately conveyed. A tactical group led by Inquisitor Helena Valeria was formed to investigate the happenings on Solemnace. Upon arrival, the group was astounded by Trazyn's collection. The ensuing confrontation resulted in some exhibits being damaged. Trazyn could not let such disorder go unanswered and intervened in the battle at a critical moment. The Inquisition did not anticipate such developments, and Valeria, along with her squad, began a retreat, during which several copies of Trazyn were destroyed, but they continued to appear. In the end, the surviving expedition members were evacuated. Trazyn, charmed by his encounter with the Inquisitor, decided to send Valeria a tesseract trap in the form of a small chest, one of the dynasty's tesseract labyrinths, as a gift. In the accompanying message via hyperspace, he thanked her for her unintentional contribution to his collection in the form of Cadachian regiments captured during the Cadia War, expressing hope that she enjoyed his collection. The goal was to trap Valeria, but she managed to avoid capture and even used it against her enemies, making her life easier. When Trazyn learned of Valeria's death at the hands of the Puritan Inquisitor Katarina Greyfax, he was disappointed and subsequently captured Greyfax for his collection. The Salamander's Forge. Father Vulcan Hastan also showed interest in Trazyn's collection, which in turn strives to acquire Vulcan's artifacts, reminding him of this in various ways. It is believed that Trazyn is responsible for the deaths of previous Forge Fathers and even attempted to lure Hastan into a trap by pretending to have found the artifact of pestilence, but in reality, wanting to seize Vulcan's spear. Anrakir the Traveler attempted to awaken a tomb world located in the territory of the Exodites and Eldar, hoping for assistance from other tomb worlds. Support arrived from various corners, including Solemnace with Trazyn at the helm. As a result of the battle, the Eldar were forced to retreat, and Anrakir, pleased with the success, allowed Trazyn to add the Spirit World Temple to his collection. In the fictional universe of Warhammer 40,000, there exists an amazing character, Trazyn the Infinite, a representative of the Necrontyr, a race of necrodermis machines that once ruled the universe. During the battle for Cadia, a strategically important planet of the Imperium, an event occurred that caught Trazyn's attention. In his vast collection of artifacts, the bell of St. Gerstal rang 13 times, signaling the start of the 13th Black Crusade, a massive invasion of chaos forces into the material universe. The powerful bell tolls led to destructive consequences. 5 spare bodies of the immortal Trazyn were destroyed. Many tombs collapsed or were flooded, and the control program began to malfunction. Eventually, Trazyn discarded the annoying bell into the warp, an infinite sea of energies that distort reality. Puzzled by the artifact's mysterious activation, Trazyn traveled to the World of Silence, where the Necrontyr dynasty, possessing the legendary Celestial Ark, was located. This powerful artifact not only displayed a complete map of the galaxy, but also allowed the destruction of entire planets. From the Necrontyr, Trazyn learned of the emerging corruption in the galaxy, a destructive entropic force devouring reality. Arriving on Cadia, Trazyn made an unexpected decision to assist the Imperium in confronting the corruption. He appeared before Archmagos Belisarius Cawl, who was overseeing the activation of the Pylons network. Ancient technologies that allowed the warp rift, known as the Eye of Terror, to be compressed. Trazyn generously shared information on the location of the remaining pylons and how to control them. At the decisive moment of the battle, as the threat of defeat loomed, Trazyn released from his labyrinth collection numerous warriors of the Imperium from different epochs: Ultramarines, Horus Heretics, Vostroyans, Tanith Snipers, Custodes, Salamanders, and even Katarina Greyfax, a character seemingly unrelated to the events. However, Trazyn's main goal was to enrich his collection with valuable specimens. Primarch Abaddon, the Emperor's champion Celestine, and General Ursarkar E. Creed himself. When it became clear that Abaddon might face defeat, he ordered the detonation of the Blackstone Fortress so its debris would fall on Cadia, destroying the pylons. Before leaving Cadia, Trazyn added the mortally wounded Ursarkar Creed to his collection, saving him from inevitable death with the words, "This should not be your end. Eternity awaits." Trazyn's act can be considered noble. He contributed to the protection of the material world from the dangers of the warp and also enriched his exceptional collection. Undoubtedly, the grand adventures of this unique character are worthy of further videos.